Okay, so here we are. So welcome everybody. For those of you who are attending, you probably know me, Catherine Bell with Titan Impact Group, where we leave every person, property, and community better than we found them, and we add commas and collapse timelines. And what I'm really excited about today is to talk about with Laura, who you all get to meet today, which I'm really excited. When her and I met, we had the most amazing conversation, but not the typical investor conversation. Which is what I love. And so we're going to talk about something really, really freaking cool at the quantum physics level, which I love. It's like total nerdville, but if any of you know me, you know that I love all this stuff. So for all the nerds in the house, I always tell my twins that nerds rule the world. So I'm really excited for what you're going to learn here with Laura. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. So before we jump in, Laura, I would love for you to share, 2 to 3 sentences about yourself just so they get a feel for who you are. And then we're going to jump into all the really cool things we're going to talk about.
Sure. So one of the things that really best describes me is that there are many people out in this world who sense the signal and they miss the message. And when we are actually super smart, just as you've kind of described in here, we actually tend to bypass what's obvious and what's right in front of us. So when we come into this area of quantum physics that we're going to start diving into, we actually see the message, we tune into the message, we tune into that signal of quantum physics. And then once we fine tune that, we find our true signal. And when we do that, changes everything.
Yeah, so this is really amazing. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, beautiful. So we're gonna dive into all of this just because again, this is such a juicy conversation. So let's talk about this, our minds and our hearts being misaligned. This was a powerful conversation you and I were having.
Absolutely, absolutely. So right when I was actually kind of talking about finding your true signal, it's about really when our hearts and our minds connect, we develop something called coherence. So it's kind of not just when your mind is all scattered about, kind of what the previous slide is, but the idea is when our head and our hearts are actually fully together. And when that happens, we can start to see our true signal and start to actually understand the difference between having, I call that scatterbrained mind, or if you meet the people I say, like, they only operate kind of from the chest up, they're just like, woo, to all of a sudden coming into that beautiful alignment. Because when we don't have that, it blocks the flow. We don't know what's going on. And, as we're approaching 4th of July here, you're a sparkler. You're just like, choo, 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 choo.
Which is amazing. So let's talk about the quantum presence framework.
Yeah, so as we were talking about is when we come into not just our hearts, our head, and aligning our hearts, we also have to keep in mind, and this is what's usually not talked about, it's about anchoring in our body. We don't tend to talk about grounding. So think about it when you're in a chaotic situation, we tend to lose our feeling sensation. So it's about, I love how what's in the slide here, it's about feeling your toes. So can you also breathe deeply into your chest, but can you also breathe deeply into your toes? Can you breathe all the energy through your heart, your mind, your heart, into your toes, all the way down, and just feel this beautiful light come through you, pulse all the way into the depths of the earth, and just feel this beautiful point of what's actually called 0 point energy. It's when you open your eyes that you are just in full presence. When you operate in a place of neutrality. And when you think about neutrality, and nature is definitely the best place for it, you tend to think of the way a bird soars over a situation. the way a bird would kind of look down and say, seeing two people maybe argue or something that might ruffle your feathers, it just goes, okay, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And there's no judgment. There's no guilt. There's no doubt. There's just acceptance of what's going on. And it's really from this place of 0 point field that we actually have access to all possibilities. So thinking of even for wealth, imagine when all of a sudden a new stream of income comes in and you go, oh, I never thought about that before. You all of a sudden open up your mind and everything that's possible into bringing this beautiful opportunity your way.
This is huge. So it's interesting because I remember when my twins were, after Christopher died, and we were going through all the things that grounding became a really important part. And literally, I'd have them go and take their shoes off and stand in the grass.
Yeah.
And there's just something very healing about that. And it's interesting talking about the breathing. I noticed that I forget to breathe a lot, which sounds weird, but I hold my breath a lot. And I learned how to breathe into my belly to make my belly big and round. But the whole idea of breathing into my toes, that's really interesting. That like takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah. So, and the thing too is grounding, yes, it's also like walking barefoot, grass, sand, whatever it may be. But it's also understanding that it's about having that sensation in your feet. And it's the same thing about bringing that breath into your feet too, because when you actually feel your entire body and not just in your head or your heart, but you feel every cell in your body, you can then feel and sense into every possibility, every new perspective that is available to you. And how would that change your life?
Right? Like that is power right there. So say that again. That is really powerful what you just said.
That just came through me that
well, it was feeling every cell in your body. What if you felt like, because I want all of you to think about this. What if you actually got fully present and felt every cell in your body? And from that, every possibility that's available to you. What if we felt that?
And it's so beautifully, Catherine, and I love how you mentioned it earlier is, yeah, sometimes we have to start with just breathing into our belly. Can you breathe into the sides of your ribs? I've had entire, 100,000 people audiences that I've done these deep breathing exercises with that didn't realize they could actually push out the back of their ribs and expand backwards. So when you start to breathe in and breathe into every cell, your toes, your knees, your hips, and imagine you just breathe. Guess what? Your energy field is getting larger. Your presence is getting larger. Your power for yourself is increasing. It's what we've talked about. Present is power. And when we feel into that place of neutrality, this 0 point, this complete present, all of those possibilities open up.
I mean, that is really, really powerful. So can you just walk everybody through like a simple, you said you've walked like thousands of people through this. Like I would love them to experience this for, just a few seconds. Can you do that?
Sure. I'm going to just ask people to close their eyes for a minute. And I just want them to first feel a bright plasma light within their brain. Feel it flickering. But I want you to just expand this light out all the way past your room, past the city you're in, past the state you're in. And then I want you to bring this beautiful plasma light all the way down through your shoulders, your heart, down through your hips, your knees. Bring it all the way down through your toes and feel this beautiful plasma energy deep into the ground. Feel this energy pulsing with Mother Earth, expanding in and out. Feel it breathe in and out. And as you quickly open your eyes, and this was a very speedy version, I want you to notice where in your body you weren't able to feel this light. Because those are the areas to breathe further into and breathe deeper into to expand so you can start feeling that energy in all aspects of your body. And by the way, I just want to say it's probably going to be normal for many people in this audience to recognize they probably weren't able to feel it all the way through.
So, and why is that?
A lot of us have blockages, and for various reasons, whether it's trauma or grief or doubt, many of the emotions that kind of come up or hesitations, we even stress. People, if you've ever been burned out, I mean, hello, I used to be a professional burnout at one point. That's how I came into this work, because I wanted to find a different way. When that stress or trauma gets trapped in our body. So it's about releasing whatever those blockages are so we can then feel into every aspect.
So releasing those blockages, like how can somebody do that?
So as you go through that exercise and just pulling the light all the way through your head, all the way down to your toes, just notice where you literally can't feel. A lot of people can't feel their toes. If you were to even right now, wiggle I'm going to mimic with my hands, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Most people, that's almost going to feel foreign to them.
Wow.
Because we're on so automatic. So find out when you just breathe, where you just can't feel. Can you not feel it in your knees? Maybe you're having difficulty moving somewhere. Hey, as we get older, our muscles scrunch up again. We can release a lot by just breathing beautiful white light into some of these areas.
Wow. So I feel like it's like people are this is becoming more of mainstream conversation, but it's still not quite there. So this is really, really fascinating. So let's talk about the science.
Yeah, so I love it. Thank you for bringing this up. So we talked a little bit earlier how when our thoughts are all over the place, it's electrical impulses. It's a sparkler. It's like, right? So, but our heart is magnetic. And that's what makes us electromagnetic beings. That's exactly what we are. We're a combination of the electric impulses in our nervous system and the magnetism around us. But we have to tend to think of what's stronger. Is it our mind that's a scatter box, or is it a beautiful white laser that comes down? And then where is your heart? Is your heart closed? Does it have walls around it? Or is your heart open to anything that's unexpected that can come your way? Because when we have a beautiful resonance and coherence between these electromagnetic waves, that brings us straight into what you have down here is the laser focus. It's about bringing this beam of light in that instead of it's aligned and easily there, and then opens you up to all of those possibilities that we've recently discussed.
Wow, that's incredible. I want more of that. I don't know anybody, but I want more of that. So we just talked briefly about the toes to heart. I know I jumped ahead and had
You're fine,
everybody, but this is like, again, this is one of the most powerful exercises. I know I've done with my kids and myself, but I feel like we can't talk about this piece enough because it's so simple but so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. So the toes to heart and head to toes is that when we breathe in, we can, the first easiest, and I realize it's not on the slides, is it's called basic box breathing. And the reason why it's called that is you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold the breath for 4 counts, you exhale for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, and then you repeat that.
Wow.
What's on this slide is that if we exhale a little bit more, so we do the exhale from the heart a little bit longer, it actually allows our entire nervous system to recalibrate. And
Wow.
then the thing is too, is things to ask yourself. We tend to ask ourselves the wrong questions. Why is this not working? What's taking so long? How come somebody's not doing something? But when we go to the simple question of what miracle am I ready to receive, it changes the whole dynamic. Our bodies are a receiving vessel. Previous slide, we're electromagnetic beings. We
Right.
are a receiving vessel. So if we are not open to receive, guess what? All the opportunities are out there, but we don't allow them in. So even asking yourself on a daily basis, what miracle am I ready to receive today? And be
That's
open
beautiful.
to
Yeah.
whatever, oh, be open to whatever it is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. This is so perfect because I feel like so I was just at a health retreat last week and got back, and it was really fascinating inside of all the scans and everything they did with us. And it's there was 12 of us and three of us were like I mean, everybody there was really high performance, but there were three of us that were literally operating on like 1%, where we should be closer to 100%. And the results
Yeah.
that we produced at 1% were extraordinary. However, what would happen, and it's that difference between like being driven and forcing outcomes to
Yes.
making things happen versus hold on, what miracle am I ready to receive? Like it feels very different, right?
Yeah, and I appreciate how you just brought that up because there's so much of the forcing, which is a lot of your energy. And I mean, you can even
Right,
see with my hands like coming in close. It's like somebody's grabbing at you, right? Like nobody
right.
wants to be grabbed at. But if somebody all of a sudden says, "Hey, Catherine, what's your schedule next week? Can I take you to Kauai for an all-inclusive retreat and get you to relax?" What would you say to that?
When do we leave?
Okay, but how many people, probably even in your audience, are going, "Oh, but I've got this, and this going on. I have to do X, Y, Z, all this other stuff," versus I'm open to this amazing thing that just came into my life. And yeah, it's more of like, it's the and how can we make both happen or allow both to happen because you were actually craving a getaway and it just showed up at your door.
Right? Yeah, it's so perfect. It's like so after Christopher died, I read a bunch of books and anyway, long story short, I ended up writing on my bathroom mirror and it's still there. So green is my favorite color. So I
Mm,
took a dry erase marker and I wrote it on my mirror. It's been there ever since. So I literally look through it as I get ready every morning. And it says, God and the universe are conspiring to have my heart's deepest desires come true. And it just reminds me to like breathe and to allow and to receive. Like there's nothing for me to do. There's just for me
ex-
to be, right? Which is for me as uh, an overachiever.
yeah.
I think it's the most challenging thing for me to do is to be because I'm always like driven to do the next thing. So this is again, this has been a game changer for me, which is really interesting. So this to drive the point home inside of this, it's the, for those of you who don't know, I have we just completed raising capital for our $50 million fund, and the timeline on this was like 18 to 24 months to get this completed. We did it in 8 months. And it's like, how and why did that happen? Multiple things, using AI, aligning with lots of people who are all about making that impact, because this fund helps over 33,000 veterans and first responders. And it was, I believe it was that, like, because we're so focused on making the impact that it happened. Like, it just came to us naturally without having to force any outcomes in it. And spending a lot of time for me focusing on a version of your question, which was every morning I ask myself, how am I appreciating even more of God's love and perfection in this moment right now? Like the good, the bad, the ugly, like there's, how am I appreciating it? And when I really got in touch with like that feeling, which again, talking about investing in finance and all of that, it's interesting how we think that feeling doesn't matter, but it 100% absolutely matters, because it's the feeling of how are we going to feel when that impact is made, when that difference is made. So it's I mean, this to me, honestly, 50 million in 8 months was absolutely utterly shocking to all of us, that it came in so fast and so easily. But I believe it came in because we were all focused on um, truly just having our hearts be open and being grateful for the impact and the lives that are being changed on every level, with all of this. So, yeah.
So I just wanted to step in there because you said something that is so important that ties into what we said a little bit earlier, is that you could feel the appreciation. Okay.
Mhm.
When we go back to, can you feel every cell in your body? First, you have to recognize that your cells are there, that your toes are even there.
Right.
But when you can feel that appreciation, well, I mean, like getting the chills even just saying this, is like when you feel that appreciation in every cell of your body, in your entire room that you're sitting in right now, that is what becomes the game changer, because you're bringing the feeling of the heart, aligning with your thoughts, grounding it into the earth, and voila, it was effortless for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's so mind blowing. And I love the visualization of the light beam. And I visualized that for years, but I like
Yeah.
inside what you said, like the feeling of the chaos and all the things versus that calmness about that laser. I mean, it's like night and day, because my brain's always going 1,000 miles an hour. So
Yeah, and the thing is, there is a lot of things. There's a lot of things in the world and society and everything, but we get to choose,
right.
and this is important. We get to choose how we feel. And the only thing that we can control is how we feel in our response to ourselves. That's it.
Right. So I love that. So we get to choose how we feel. We get to choose what we do with this. So let's talk about the homework we're going to give them, and then they get to come back and spend time with you and actually talk to you on Thursday, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, so it's about, again, breathing in this light from head to toe. Just bring it all the way down through all your joints, all the way down into your feet. Just kind of, you don't have to be a biologist or anything. Just bring it all the way through. And then just feel this beam of light and do your best. Practice it. Where are you having difficulty feeling? And just breathe in more light, breathe in more compassion into that area. You might even just ask that area, what does that area need? If your shoulder hurts, what's that shoulder telling you? And then as you start to bring all of these things forward, record the synchronicities throughout the day. Even a few days ago, I asked the universe to give me a sign, and I saw dolphins, a horseshoe, a
Wow.
1,000 fish in the waves in the ocean, like, and this was like in 30 minutes, and I was like, okay. And then be appreciative. I'm so glad that you brought that up. Say thank you, thank you, thank you for showing me this sign. Okay,
Mm,
when we are appreciating the signs we're receiving, guess what? We're going to receive more of them. And what
right,
do we want to do? We want to receive more miracles.
right.
So record those and just allow yourself to be grateful at the end of the day.
Well, and to me, it's like it's not just the being grateful, it's like the feeling fully into the gratitude. Like I have
Yep.
to, for me, I have to stop and consciously close my eyes and feel the gratitude through every cell of my body.
Yeah.
And there's something really powerful about that. I don't quite understand all of it, but I just keep doing it because it feels good and more miracles show up. That's what you're here for, Laura. I'm sure you could explain
Exactly.
all the science behind all of that.
Yeah,
Works,
absolutely.
right? Inside
I
it,
love it.
given who we are and we're all up to big things and making an impact, this is a really important piece of all of this. Um, so let's go ahead and answer some of these questions that I think a lot of people, not just me, will have.
Sure. So if your mind is racing too fast, again, come back to your breath. You probably forgot your breath is on automatic. So come back to your breath and move your toes, right foot, left foot. Okay? Because it gets you back into your body.
Right.
So, how long until you feel a 0 point calm? The idea is to have a consistent practice. And the idea is this: the more you practice it, the more it becomes automatic for you. And then you don't even have to think about it.
Right.
I'm blessed at the point where a lot of my stuff is automatic, but it takes time, and be patient with yourself. I mean, this isn't, this is where the high performers get, oh, well, I did this once and it's supposed to start working tomorrow. Well, you didn't become a high performer because you only did it once. You did it repetitively.
Right.
So when it comes to new, I love this question, new age jargon. So quantum physics is real. We didn't quite go into the depths of vibration and frequency and resonance, but there is detailed science on all of this. So if you really actually want to get into quantum mechanics, the best way to sometimes even think about this is when women are pregnant, they have sonograms, right? They have a beam, a wave that bounces into the body to see where the baby is, and it bounces back. You're doing the same thing. You are just controlling your own electromagnetic waves.
Mm,
Okay. So I just wanted to give that type of an example for you. So when you say you have no time to practice, guess what? Um, you can probably tell me who wrote the compounding. I can't
Darren
remember who
Hardy,
wrote.
compounding effect. It was Darren Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guess what? You can practice while you're brushing your teeth.
Right.
Okay. If you want to just find things, do it while you're doing something else. As soon as you open up something on your browser, make it a habit of checking in with your breath.
Mm,
Okay. If you
wow.
start a new activity, okay, check in. Do you feel your toes? Maybe just move your toes a little bit. Okay. We can do a lot of things that don't take a lot of time. And by the way, once you start to get these practices in place, you're going to find that you get a lot more done in a lot less time, and you're going to have more time.
That's beautiful. I love that. Linking the habit to another thing that you do all the time. That's genius.
Yeah.
So powerful. I love that. That whole net time, no extra time
Yeah.
from Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
Love that. So next steps is we're going to have you come back on Thursday and we're going to do a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, but more importantly, they have the ability to schedule a call with you, which we'll talk more about what you actually do and
Mhm.
the coolness of, you know, all the things that you do and how people can dive into this whole conversation deeper and actually have it impact every area of their life. So I'm really excited about that. So for all of you who are on my mailing list, you'll get the invitation to this. Make sure you get registered, come. And also the recordings will be sent out as well, so you can see those as well. So I look forward to having you back on Thursday, Laura. I always love our conversations. They're so deep. I love depth. That matters.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to share this with you and your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody will come back on Thursday, bring all your questions, and again, you may not even know what the questions are, but just come because we'll have some questions. But this is, I don't know, Laura, the time I spend with you just has me think at a different level, which I really, really love. So anyway, you're amazing. Thank you. I love this
Wonderful.
work. I love you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to digging further into all of this and having you impact all these lives that you don't even know.
Great. Thank you
I
so
love it.
much for having me, and look forward to the Q&A in a couple days.
I love this. Okay, honey, have a great week and we'll see you on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, bye, love.